As we come into October, we are starting to look at our plans for breeding the Icelandic sheep. Now, one thing that we haven't done is actually introduce you to our 2 new rams that we purchased. This year we did actually purchase adult rams to grow our flock, and probably something that we're not going to do again, but it just was, it happened to be right time, right place. The price was right, and they are virtually unrelated to what we have so far with our girls. But anyways, let's introduce you first, and then we'll have more conversation. So this here is Greedy. He is 4 years old. One of the rams that we purchased this year. Look at the beautiful horns. Hi, buddy. He's actually very well behaved for his age. You can see he is a black, but he's got a lot of frosting coming out on that coat. I call it frosting anyways. Our girls do that as well. And he's actually out here with Rasta. And, oh, they're going to have a little bit of a quarrel, I'm sure, coming up here. These 2 actually came from the same farm and were used to being together. Rasta is 2. These 2 have virtually no relation to ours. Greedy is 0% with any of our girls. Rasta is a little bit related to Lila, but Lila is also not related to any of our others. So that's actually fantastic. So kind of the hopes with this is by gaining these genetics and using a couple of our boys that we had this year, born on the farm, that we will be going into the 2022 season with amazing genetics. Everybody who follows our channel knows we kind of have that goal of being independent and not having to purchase sheep every year for breeding or every second year or that sort of thing. And we do have a thing with our rams of not keeping them till they get to an older age, because they do sort of tend to become a little bit problematic. But let's go look at our 2 boys that we've selected to keep from our group. Before I show you the rams that we kept back from what was born on the farm this year, I thought I'd show you some of our ewes here. Well, this is all of our ewes, but we've decided to breed 12 this year. This here is Coco. She's one of our older ones. She's 5. Here we have Moo Cow. Look at that beautiful fleece. I need to get that off soon. Soon. Hopefully this week. Hard to believe, I actually sheared her in June. Is that not crazy? Star, she had babies last year. Patches did not have last year. She was on the cull list, but because we brought in these 2 rams, we are going to give her one more shot. See if she has any this year. Maybe she just didn't like the boy she was with last year. So we're going to give her another shot, because she is a really, really nicely put together ewe. Then we have Gray. Gray had the single Tony last year. And we have Lila here with 20. These 2 would be our senior girls. Both these girls have been producing for us for quite a bit. We have a lot of offspring from them. 20 was actually going to be rehomed this year, but we decided to keep her because, again, we brought in those 2 rams and we want to make the best use of those genetics this year. So, like I say, breeding all 12 this year. It could be interesting next spring. And here we have the rest of the group. This here's Chocolate. This little cluster here is our 3 young ewes that we kept from this year's babies. We've got Annie, the little bottle lamb, and her sister Snow, and Butterscotch. So those 3 will not be being bred. There's no rams in this pen right now. We do not breed our Icelandics first year. There are people out there that do, but we have ours born quite late. So come breeding season in November, they're only just coming up to the 5-month mark. So for us, that's too early. The vet bills potentially are not worth the risk or the expense. So we will separate these girls when we divide everybody up into their breeding groups, and they'll just live a cushy life over the winter until next year when they have to do some work. Here we have Beauty. She's another one of our older girls, not quite as old as 20. She would be 5 this year. Enya. As you can see, she does gray out, just like Beardy the ram that we just got. She is a solid black, but there's a lot of frosting going on that fur, but it does make beautiful, beautiful yarn. And these two here are Oreo and Brownie. They're sisters that we kept from last year's babies. So this will be their first year being bred. Both of them need to be sheared as well before winter time because there is some pretty serious fleece on there. But that's just a kind of a quick look at the ewes and the girls that we've got this year. As I said, we were planning to only breed 8, same as last year, but because we brought in these 2 rams, that gives us the ability to use 4 rams this year and 4 breeding groups. So we're hoping to kind of have it work out to be 3, 3, and 3. It probably isn't going to work out perfectly. We haven't actually gone on and it's windy here. My hair is a total mess. We haven't actually gone on and fully sorted out who's going with who yet. We still have a month. Still a month to do that. That's our best method, is leaving things till last minute and procrastinating and figuring it out as we go. But let's go and take a look at the rams that we decided to keep this year. These 3 boys are what is left from the rams that were born on our property this year. Now Tony, this gray one here, I'll give you a quick look if he'll let me. Tony is a cull sheep. Now Tony has horrible horns. This will be problematic. You probably can see this already. And unfortunately, he is so friendly. Hey, buddy. But you can see here, see how that curls back into his head? That will be a problem. Hey, buddy. Yes, that's going to be a problem with him. So he is not going to be used for breeding. He is here to live out his days. This little boy here, this black one, we don't actually have a name for him yet, but he has an amazing set of horns, excellent worm resistance. This is one of the ones that we saw no indication of worms in him or his sister this year. Just wonderful. That's something that we have been breeding for over the years and selecting is really good worm resistance. So even though he's a little bit on the smaller side than what we would like, he has beautiful fleece. And that worm resistance has given him top marks for selection in our breeding program. So he is actually from the boy that we had last year, Double, the brown and white spotted one. And in the middle here we have Beardy. Beardy is my favorite. He may actually be staying to be our senior ram next year. We'll just have to see. He's a beautiful gray. He comes from our ram Ash, who was very quiet, very docile. Again, Beardy has great horns, great horn placement. They're very widespread. We're not going to have any issues with those grazing his face, which is nice. And he is a big boy. You can see him next to the little black one here. He's a lot broader. Excuse the few burrs that he's managed to pick up along the way. You can see why he's named Beardy. He's got that white spot under his neck. But anyways, so those 2 are the ones that we have selected to keep for our breeding program. The reason we chose those 2 was just for genetic diversity. We used 2 rams last year and we wanted to keep 2 boys, 1 from each of those rams. And you know, those couple other features that I just pointed out. They have great horns, which is something that we have had problems with because some of our girls do not have the best horns. As you can see from Tony, he has the same horns as his mom. They curl back instead of going out. So just little things that you start to see and notice as you breed your own flock and you select for the traits that you want. As you can see, they're in our backyard. This is the nice thing about keeping young rams is you don't need to worry about them destroying the fence, things like that. This is why we steer away from keeping our rams past the age of 2. Not that they all will destroy fences or be bad, but you get the occasional bad apple in it. I just wanted to give you a little look at our breeding flock as we go into that season and start thinking about those sorts of things. We're very excited to have 4 unrelated rams this year. This is a big step for us in being independent with our sheep flock. Are we going to stick with 12 ewes? I don't know, but this year we're going to take advantage of having those 12 ewes. We're also looking into milking come spring, which we know we would probably like to have 8 to 10 milking. So who knows? Watch this space and we'll see how well we do next spring. But just wanted to introduce you to Greedy and Rasta, our newest additions to the farm. Saying that, they've been here for over a month now.